Hey, welcome back, guys. Monday, April the 12th, Monday Morning Briefing, episode 28 or 29. We did not have one last week, and I want to apologize for that. I got in here Monday and had to get some book work done for end of the month and that kind of stuff last week, and I just got tied up, and then I thought, well, I'll do it Tuesday, I'll do it Wednesday. Well, the next thing I knew, it was Friday, and so we just didn't get it done. We had a lot of stuff just business-wise going on last week. We finally finished the other saddle that we were working on. I'm sorry I didn't get any footage of it, but you saw it pretty close to being done. But we had the rope and saddle done, and it needed to get shipped out and headed to Arizona, which it did. And then we also had the ranch saddle picked up this weekend. So we just had a lot going on, and then I had a bunch of office stuff that we had to kind of hunker down on and get finished. So it got away from us. We missed a week. I think that might be the first week we missed, other than during the storm. Maybe, I don't remember. Anyway. Sorry about that. No big deal. We're back. And we also didn't have a podcast last week. We were dark. I meant to put something out on social media, but again, the whole week just got away from me. A lot of good stuff, just busy. I finally got another project video lined out and kind of started shooting that. I've had it on my mind. It's one we've been working on, but it's one I've been wanting to do. And we'll talk about that in a minute. We just had a lot of stuff moving through the shop. A lot of people came to visit. We had a pair of Bobs and a Chuck that came by and visited, and so that was a lot of fun. They came Thursday and spent the morning with us and just kind of asked some questions and hung out, and they're really neat guys. One's a boot maker. The other guy does some, I think it's air gun competition shooting and stuff. That was very interesting to hear about. But we had a good visit with them. They got to see the shop and kind of hang out and have a cup of coffee, and we just kind of answered a few questions for them they had and some different deals. They've got some different ideas of where they want to take their particular businesses and stuff, and so that was a lot of fun. I also had a good friend of mine, Fred, that came by to visit. He usually comes by once a month. When he goes to get feed, he gets feed over in Gonzales, and so when he does, he stops by the shop. So we got to visit with him, and we always enjoy that. He's just kind of a friend of the shop and comes by, and we always enjoy talking to him and kind of seeing what his business is doing and what he's up to in the leather crafting world. So if you're ever in the area, stop by for a visit. Let's hop right into it. I've got a few things I want to talk about. One is the thank y'all very much for those that are buying the money clip wallet packs. They're doing really well. We're trying to cut those as best we can. Like I said, I've been trying to lighten them up a little bit. The nice thing with the Cobra splitter that I got, it works really good for putting to use a lot of the leathers that are maybe a little bit heavier, but they're not big enough to do much with. You can thin those down, make a lot of wallets out of. When I'm doing it for myself, I kind of dial it in and kind of do them. But when I'm trying to cut out a bunch of those, it's a little bit trickier because you got to remember with the Cobra splitter, it's not a band knife. And if you're not familiar with a band knife, it is a very large, comparatively to like a sewing machine or something. They're usually pretty big. Maybe half the size of this bench here, something like that. So they take up a lot of space. They're also very expensive and very hard to work on. So you've kind of got to be somewhat of a mechanic if you have any issues with those. From my experience of being around them, we had access to band knives with Court Saddlery when they were in business, and Brian, my good friend Tony, would let me come in there and tear up his machine every once in a while on the weekends. So I always tended to get something stuck in there, hung up in there, but they're really handy machines, and eventually we would love to get one of those machines in place in the shop. They're a lot more dialed in. You can pull off just a half ounce if you want to. You can really dial in your weights on your leathers. The Cobra splitter does much of the same thing, but it's a fixed blade, and so it sits in position and the rollers pull the material against the blade. The blade does not move, versus a band knife, the blade is actually spinning and cutting through the leather more like a razor, and so it works really well. The Cobra splitter works amazing. I love it. I love that splitter. I use it pretty much every day. I'm back there running at least one piece of leather through there to dial it in for what we're working on. If you're interested in getting one of those, they're perfect for the shop as far as for just normal use and what you're going to be doing with it. But if you're trying to cut a ton of like we are, a ton of these material packs for you guys and stuff like that, it's just a little bit harder to get that kind of perfected. So we're playing with that. But I did order on our next shipment of Herman Oak that's coming. I did get some 5.6, which I'm going to see. Like I said in the last video, I think the 5.6 is a little bit heavy for a wallet. I may start cutting those closer to that 4 to 5 ounce, somewhere around there. So if you get them and they're a little light, that's because by the time you get done, it's going to make a perfect feeling wallet. I've made a bunch of those. I'll show you here. I made a whole bunch of these wallets for the sales floor, and they are on the website if anybody's interested in these. If you're watching this and want to get one of these, they are on the website, but they're Latigo belly, so I had a lot of Latigo bellies left over from just lining flank girts, breast collars, stuff like that, cutting tie straps out of, cutting Latigo belts out of. Those bellies are perfect for wallets, especially after you pull them through that Cobra splitter, because it kind of smooths it out, tempers that leather, and gives it a really neat feel. Some of these are thicker than others. Some of them are lighter, so each one is a little bit different, and I was trying to go in for consistency, obviously, in making a bunch of these. And so I'm learning how to use the splitter and how to get everything set up. I will say, pulling this Latigo or this dark harness through that splitter, it's like butter. I mean, it just goes right through, no problem, very little stretch. I mean, that blade just really does a nice job, but it's getting them the right weight. And so I think I'm getting it dialed in, and I'm using this as an experiment to make the kits better for you guys. So, but that is one of the deals that I've noticed just making a big batch of them for myself, is that I'll get a little inconsistency. Some of them are thicker, some of them are lighter, and I prefer the lighter ones. So that's what I'm going to try to send you guys. There's nothing wrong with tooling light leather. 4 or 5 ounce, something like that, 3-4 ounce I've even tooled. I would get one of those cut mats, like I have on my tooling bench. You've seen a lot of videos. It's just that green cut mat. You can buy one at Hobby Lobby or anything like that. Tape that down on your rock, and then when you go to tooling on that, it'll help you on those lighter leathers to get that depth that you want. If you're tooling a really thin piece of leather just straight on the slab, that slab doesn't have any give, and so it's your tooling's going to look a little more flat. If you want to get more of that robust look, or that more 3D look where things are raised up and pushed down and you got a lot more contour, then you're going to want to add a mat to your tooling bench. I taped mine down. It stays on there all the time. If I'm tooling 15 ounce saddle leather like a fender or something like that, or a set of housings, that mat's not in the way. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not going to bother you at all. It's not going to help you, but it's not going to hurt anything to leave it there. But if you're tooling a lot of thin leather like wallet leathers, boot tops, if you're tooling some boot tops that's usually very thin, then I would suggest getting one of those self-healing cut mats. They're real thin. They're not very thick. They're really thin. Like I said, they're usually green. I think Aaron at Makers, his is I think gray with blue lines on it and stuff. You can get whatever you want, but that's going to help you when you're doing that, tooling that lighter leather. But anyway, the material packs for those, for the money clip wallets, they're working. Order them up. I kind of cut them as they're ordered, and that way I'm personally pulling those down for you. And I'm going to, pick leather and click it out, and then we're pulling it down, or pull it down, then click it out, whatever I've got to do to get it to where I think, okay, all these pieces, this is going to make a nice wallet, and I'll send it to you. If you order a 3-pack, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just trying to be sure. I'm not cutting hundreds of these and putting them in a box and just assuming they're okay. I'm kind of checking them out as they go, because I want them to work. I don't want you to get some, especially if you order the 1-pack. You got one shot. I don't want you to make it and have this big old thick wallet that just doesn't work. And so that's what we're trying to do. I say all that to say we're getting into the same situation with the bifold wallet. If you've seen our billfold or bifold video that we do, I have all the dies for this. These are both made with the dies. They work great. It works perfectly. It's getting the leather figured out, the weights. This one here is made all out of Herman Oak veg. And I just made this one, just kind of, it's for sale on the retail floor, but I just made it just to see how it went together, and it's about right. But the 3-4, I just used 3-4 ounce for the interiors, and it's a real light 3-4, but it was still kind of supposed to be 3-4. It's almost a little thick, I think. I think this doesn't have anything in there, and the wallet feels a little heavy. The deal with wallets, I'm not a wallet expert, but the guys that are, like Odin, who's been on the podcast, and we've got a couple more that are kind of known for wallets that are coming on the podcast. They're already scheduled, and so that's going to be fun. But a lot of those guys will tell you need a lot lighter leather than you think when you're making a wallet, because there's so many pieces involved. If you're doing one of these, there's not a lot involved. You've got the liner and you've got a pocket on each side. That's pretty easy. You can get away with 3-4 on that. You could probably get away with 5-6. It's just going to be real heavy. But when you get into talking about like a billfold, or even I've never successfully made a trifold, so I don't even offer those. and I probably never will. They're just, for me, they're way too difficult to try to put together without them being too thick. But that's the only thing. This seems a little thick. My preferred, as I did in the video, in the video where we made this wallet, I used Kangaroo, and that is always my number one option. If you can get Kangaroo skins, use that for your interiors on your wallets. You know, I would even think like a passport wallet or anything like that. Anything where you've got multiple pockets or even key pockets, that's going to be the ticket, in my opinion, is going to be the Kangaroo, because it's right there around 2-3 ounce. It's soft, it's very durable, very strong, and so that's what I would suggest you find. I have a limited supply of Kangaroo that I cheated a friend of mine out of, that he had stored back and held for a special occasion, and that special occasion became me writing him a check for all that he had. And so I have some stored back, but it's very limited supply, so I may offer some of those in the future, and I will let you know in the newsletter if we do. But this wallet in particular, it is completely Kangaroo, veg tan Kangaroo. It's not a dyed Kangaroo, it's just a veg tan, inside and out. The body, the back of it is Kangaroo, the interior is Kangaroo, everything about it. And to me, this is a perfect wallet. It is not perfectly constructed, believe me. Somebody out there make a better wallet than I do, on especially on these type. But I'm saying weight-wise, it feels absolutely perfect. And I've been in love with this ever since I made it. I think I put this together last week or the week before last, and I've just kind of been looking at it and checking it out and wondering, how do I make sure that every one of them ends up just like this? And I think the trick is Kangaroo. So if you're making a lot of wallets, I would suggest, even on these money clip wallets, really, well, not these money clip wallets, I even think that they would be a lot better served using Kangaroo leather in there. Just that leather is just perfect for interiors. And the problem right now is that everybody's using them for lace, and so they're really hard to get a hold of full skins. The lace industry is buying up, pretty much from what I've been told, they're buying up, you know, all the skins that come into the country and stuff, and they're cutting it into lace. So they kind of got a market on those, which is cool. I mean, everybody's got to have stuff, but there's a source out there. There's a few places out there. I think Maverick sells some Kangaroo skins. Aaron might be able to find some. You might give him a holler. And then Robert at Larry Lewis, he has some occasionally. I've sent y'all to him before on a few of the videos, but that is not an item that he always has. So you just kind of got to catch him. If he gets a lead on some, he'll buy some and have it, but then when it's gone, he may not have some for a while. So that's what I'm finding as well with the Kangaroo. So, but we may offer a few Kangaroo kits for you guys. And like I said, if I do, I'll put it out in the newsletter. Speaking of the newsletter, last week we sent out, if you are on the newsletter, you got our email. We sent out a newsletter for April, and so you got that. And then we also sent out an update the next day on the newsletter, and how we're going to be focusing a lot more on our newsletter as far as for our marketing. And so, and it's nothing big, nothing's really going to change. So if you don't, a lot of people are like, nah, I get enough crap in my email. I'm that way too. I don't sign up for very many newsletters just because I get enough stuff in my email, and it's hard to sort through all that stuff, and it's just another thing coming in. But if you're not interested in it and you don't want to do it, that's fine. We're going to be doing everything just like we have been on social media, YouTube, our website, everything like that, just like we have been. But the one thing that we've noticed here recently is just kind of the reach that we get from our social media posts. I mean, we've got a lot of people that follow us on both Instagram and Facebook. Just a big number of subscribers to that follow us, and when we send something out, unless you boost those things, and not to talk marketing business, but unless you're boosting that or putting some money to that, Facebook particularly does not push that to anybody. If you've got 20,000 people on your page and you just put a post out there, it's going to go to maybe 800 to 1,000 is what we're noticing. And so it's just not getting promoted. It's not going anywhere. A lot of people miss things because it's too far down in the feed, or we posted it in the middle of the day. And so posting times are real important and all that stuff. The one thing that we have complete control over is our website, which we own, and our newsletter, which we own and operate. And so we haven't ever used that newsletter to its full advantage, or our email list, because we don't want to bug you. So we don't want to send out a ton of stuff, and we won't be sending out just every day something. But what we do want to do is that if you sign up for our newsletter, you're telling us that you want to hear from us. If we promote something, or we have something new come out, or we're doing something, you guys want to know about it because you signed up for it. And you said, hey, yes, send me an email anytime. I want to see what's going on. And so with that being said, it's like we need to be sure that we're utilizing that to the best of its ability. So that's basically all we're going to do. We're just going to be putting, there'll be probably some more stuff that'll only go out in the newsletter. When we first launched the belt material packs, we only sent it to the newsletter. And that's why I tell you, if you want to kind of be in the know, so to speak, be sure and sign up for the newsletter, because that's where we kind of test products, because we know those folks are interested in leathercraft, and we're not wasting our time and getting our promotions in front of people that may not have any interest in leathercraft. So that's where we posted it the very first time we sent it out to them, and it never saw social media at all, because we sold out of all the belt packs that we had that first run, just to the newsletter folks. So that's the kind of deal that we're going to continue to do. We know those people are interested in what we're doing. We know it works, and so we're going to start kind of pushing a lot of our stuff through there, as well as social media and YouTube and stuff. And a lot of people aren't on social media. A lot of people don't fool with it. I get emails every day that, hey, I'm not on Facebook, or I'm not on Instagram. I don't do any of that, but I watch your YouTube stuff. And so, and then vice versa. Some people are only on Facebook, and they don't fool with YouTube much. We want to just be sure that if you're interested in what we're doing and you want to know more, or you want to see, new classes that we're offering, or when those become available, or new products, or just tips and videos and things that we're creating, we'll send them out through that. So be sure and sign up for the newsletter. If you get a chance, you can do that on our homepage. There's a little form on there. You just put your name and your email address in there, and we'll sign you up for that and send that out to you. Now, on to the project, because I'm really excited about the project video. I've got a couple that I've been working on, but they're just not really, they're working, they're going to be cool. They may blow this one out of the water, I don't know, but they're not my favorite thing that I've been working on, so it's kind of been dragging my feet. But I finally came up with another one that I am excited about, and this one is going to be a step-up project from our clutch wallet. We already have a clutch wallet video out there, and if you're not interested, that's fine. Scroll ahead or whatever, but I wanted to make a clutch wallet, and I had a customer that I had one on the list, and so I've been kind of thinking about making, because he's a good customer, and I wanted to make him a clutch wallet for his wife that is a little step up above what I usually make, because that video in the clutch wallet, that's a pretty simple clutch wallet to build. If you're brand new to leathercraft, it's a good challenging project, but if you've been in it for a while, it goes together pretty quick. It's not real hard to build. You can make some money on it. You don't have to charge an arm and a leg for it. And so that one's pretty good. But I wanted to make one that was a little bit more involved. It's just kind of a step up. Like, if you've made that one, now try this one, because it's going to be a little bit more involved. And so this is what we came up with. And so this particular clutch wallet, some people don't carry checks anymore. I understand that. A lot of people don't carry a checkbook or whatever. So this wallet, you can, if you use a checkbook, you can carry that, ladies. If you don't, then you don't have to. But we've basically got two pockets here for cash, receipts, whatever you want to do there. And then we've got a set of card pockets here in the middle. And then that as well is separated, so you can put your register in there if you need to. You could technically put down some receipts and stuff in there if you want. And then we've got this little zippered coin purse deal right here, where you can put little small things in there, coins and stuff, and zip it closed. And so that way you won't lose that stuff. And then behind that is another pocket here for receipts or whatever. So it's just a little bit more versatile. I think it's a little kind of more of a premium type clutch wallet. I think it's really nice. We've made a couple of adjustments from this one. This one was kind of the first one that I made, and it's just the turquoise Kangaroo. I am going to recommend that you only use Kangaroo for this, because there's a lot of pieces in here. Oh, the pockets on these are actual T-pockets. So in this video, that was one of the main step-up things I was going to show you, is how I do T-pockets. I know in the bifold wallet or billfold wallet, we do show you a real simple version of a T-pocket, because there's only two pockets on each side. So this one's not real difficult. This one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets on this. And so this one's going to be a little bit more involved. I think it's a good run through on how to do T-pockets. These 2 pockets down here are actually a T-pocket as well, or at least this middle pocket is a version of a T-pocket. And that just kind of keeps your edge thinner so that you don't have stacks of leather there with all the leather pieces that you're going to do, and it keeps this middle piece here nice and thin so it doesn't get too bulky. So anyway, working on that video right now. I think it's going to be a good one. If you're interested in kind of pushing yourself and stepping up and making something that that you've made before but now is just a little more challenging, that's what that project video is going to be. We've just been kind of calling it a little step up project. And it will have a full pattern pack. I will do tooling patterns with it. This one I just used, I robbed some of Claudia's the elephant print leather that she bought. I went ahead and snagged a few pieces of it and made a few things. And I actually made 2 of these this weekend, just kind of getting the pattern fixed and planned out. And she stole the other one because the other one's got black kangaroo interior, and so she liked that one best, and she stole that one. And this one I put just a deal off of the zipper tab right there, and that way you can hang it off your wrist if you'd like, or whatever you want to do there. But that's the clutch wallet. That project video hopefully will be out maybe next week. I don't know. We're gonna try to hustle up. I'm really excited about it, so we'll try to get it up as quick as possible. So after I got that done, while I was working on that, I have another order from a good customer that wanted a wallet for his girlfriend, but he didn't want it bulky. So he didn't want it as big as this because she carries our little wristlet purse. And we had made one of the ones that I made that was full quilt ostrich. She carries that. He bought that for her for Christmas. And so he wanted one to match that deal, but he didn't want a heavy wallet, like a big thick wallet, because she doesn't carry anything but a few cards and some cash, no checkbook or anything like that. So I came up with a type of, it's almost like a roper wallet. It's nothing earth-shattering or anything real big and different than what other people create, something very similar. But it's a little bit wider, so when it's closed, it's just a little bit wider here. It uses the same pocket system, minus 1 pocket. It's only got 4 on this one, but it's the exact same pockets that we used in the new clutch. And then you've got the same money slots over here, all Kangaroo, but you've got 1, 2, and then 1 back here, and then this one here. And so this is kind of a ladies minimalist long wallet is kind of what we're calling it. I don't really have a good name for it yet, but it's got 1 snap closure. You can open it up, boom, get your cash, card, whatever you need, close it back up, stick it back in your purse. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And so I may even make one of these that's just really small. My wife actually carries one of these in her purse with her cards and a little bit of cash in there. And of course she's got this too now, but that's usually, she doesn't carry a lot of stuff. And so for the ladies out there that don't carry a lot of stuff, I think this wallet's pretty neat. These go together pretty quickly. And again, you could probably make this out of 3-4 ounce veg, but I would try to stay more around that 2 to 3 ounce. It's going to work a lot better. But that's the new one. And I'll do a project video on this one too. I'm going to go ahead and make another one of these for him that will be tooled and everything. And I'm going to go ahead and do a video of this one alongside the video of that. But that one will come out first just because that's the one I'm excited about. That's the one I think that you'll like the most. I could be wrong, but I'm excited about it, and so I think it's going to work out good. I've got a couple little purse designs I'm coming up with too, but those I'm just trying to iron out the patterns and get those worked up, and so that they're functional and they work good. The other thing that we've got going, and the video as well, is the Pony Express bag, which has turned out to be not so much a Pony Express bag, just per the customer's order. So it's not really, it's going to be like that, but it's not exactly what I call a Pony Express bag. But you can change it up and make it work either way. But we got all the parts cut. We cut this out of the Expedition from Aaron Heiser. It's the Herman Oak waterproof leather. And this is the stiffer one. So when you call Aaron, you need to tell him, I think one's 1880 and one's Expedition. The Expedition is the one that's got a little firmer temper, which I would recommend for bags. And then the 1880 is more soft if you wanted to make a jacket like you've seen him do or something like that. But it is completely waterproof, which is pretty cool. But we've got all the panels cut. I am going to line this with some real light 3-4 ounce Herman Oak veg tan just to give the bag a little bit more body so it'll stand up on its own a little bit better. So that's and plus the interior will be nice and lined. This leather isn't the prettiest on the backside. It's not ugly or anything. It's not super attractive, and so I'd rather have a nice smooth veg tan liner on the inside of that. But it's hard to explain how this bag is going to go together in its tons of pieces that it's sitting in right now. But I'll show you in the video, and as we go along, hopefully by next week I'll have a little bit more progress done on this. But we got all the parts cut. I'm tooling the pieces and shooting video of that. So this will also be a project video, but probably no pattern yet, unless I can take a day off and go to visit with the printer to get everything lined up for that. The biggest deal we're having is from my drawings to a digital file for him. That's the biggest deal I'm having, because I'm a saddle maker, I'm not a graphics designer, so trying to connect that and getting from point A to point B is the biggest deal. If I could just create the file and then email him the file, I could print off thousands of patterns for you guys. It's just getting the small ones I have no problem doing it with. It's the larger ones that I'm having trouble, because he can't scan those. If I draw them on 2.5 by 3 foot sheets of paper, he can't scan that. So anyway, we'll deal with that. But this will be a video, so we're working on that as well. The rope bag video is almost done. Should be finalizing that stuff in the next day or so. And when it comes out, like I said, there is no pattern, but I'll have all the stuff in there, and I'll probably write a blog article with all the measurements and everything. So if you want to give one a go, you can give it a whirl and see. I want to show you the tote, the yoke tote. I made a little bit of progress on that this weekend. I was able to kind of sneak it out and get a little bit of stuff done on it. So I'm going to kind of show you what I'm talking about there. Let me grab it. All right, like I said, I made a little progress. I didn't make a ton, but I made a little bit. I got the main panel lined, so we lined that with some lighter 3-4, same stuff I'm doing this bag with, and that way I can get the inside lined. And then I went ahead and I patterned up my end caps, because I'm doing the end gussets. I'm going to try to do it a little bit different than you may have normally seen. It's going to be a little complicated, but I think it's going to work well. Basically what I'm going to do is line this with this same material here, and then I'm going to cut some wider strips of that and work that around there to where it will fold. But I've got to do it, I can't just run the liner out here, because then it's going to be rough out the way I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do is line it just like I did here. I'm going to tool this and then line this with the 3-4, trim it off flush, slick the edges, do all that. And then I'll come back and I will glue in a piece with the rough out facing this way along the edge here, and it'll just be a strip, say maybe 2 inch, so I got plenty to work with. And we'll sew that on, and I will sew that on the machine, and it'll just be laid out flat all the way around with the slick side facing up. And then I'll sew around there. Then I'll take and I'll wet that and then fold it up all the way around and work it to where it kind of makes a deal like this, okay, to where it's sitting up like that, slick side facing to the middle here. Then let that piece dry, and then my plan, we'll see if this all works. My plan is we will wet this thing on the inside and get it shaped to where it matches the radius of this, and we will inset that in there like so and glue it in place, and we'll shape this main body piece so that it matches perfectly, so there's not a lot of strain on that little gusset. And then I'll be able to sew all the way around here. I've got to get this inset far enough to where the arm on the machine of the Cobra Class 4 will fit in there and be able to sew along my groove line that I already have on the bag. And that'll be kind of an inset little gusset there. And I think that's going to work out really well. I've contemplated on how to do it, and that's kind of what I came up with. So that's what we're gonna attempt. Sometimes when you do that stuff, you just end up ruining a lot of work that you did previously, and I hope to not do that, because I've got some nice coyote on here and a lot of tooling and die work, so I'm sure we won't. Very rarely do you ruin a project beyond repair, so we'll get it figured out and we'll get it done. Once those are tooled and those are in, the bag should move really quickly, because then I've just got to make my straps and the zipper part on the top, which is a whole nother little deal, but I think it'll sew up really good. It's going to be basically a separate unit, basically a piece that we'll make with a zipper in it and all that stuff, and then that piece will just drop down in here and we'll just sew across the top of the bag. And when I sew across the top, that will hold the zipper closure piece inside, down in the top of this bag. And that's all it'll take to keep that bag closed. So, but that's what we're doing on the oat tote. That's where we are on that. You know, hopefully we can make some progress on that. She's eager to carry it, so we got to get her hurry up and get it finished up and get rolling on that deal. But lots of projects going on in the shop. Let me show you a couple. I started a couple more saddles and last week, so I pulled 2 more up, and I think I showed you the trees on the last video, and I'll show you kind of the progress we made on those. All right, so we basically kind of the same thing we were doing on the last 2. I've got 1 roper and 1 ranch saddle. I don't usually organize them that way. I don't usually say, well, I want to do 1 roper and 1 ranch saddle. I just kind of pull the next 2 up on the list. That's just how they've kind of fallen. This one here, we're going to do some, it's going to be pretty much just a working saddle, so we're not going to do a lot of artwork. I'm going to do a little bit of buck stitching here and there on it just to accent it. This is a very good customer of ours, a good friend of ours, and he kind of gave me the lead on it and said, do whatever you want, just make it look cool and don't break my checkbook. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to do some little accent. I may, you know, do a bead line on it, but we're going to do a lot of slick stuff as well. Like I've got the cantelback rough out, but then I think I'm going to do the housings and the fenders and the skirts all slick, and then just leave the seat rough out and do the swell slick. And then add just a little bit of buck stitch accents on there with some nice latigo leather or something kind of heavy and cowboy looking, and you know, it'll have a little roll on it and that kind of deal. But this is the exact same tree that we used in the ranch saddle that went out this week or last week, and so this will be a very similar saddle. It'll have a completely different look. It'll have more of a semi-round squared skirts, not the little rounded tight skirts like that other saddle had. And then this roper here, this is a Billy Hog tree and our Warren Hog tree, and so we've got the ground seat in it, we've got the horn on it. We're going to, I think we're doing a quarter breed floral, so the front will be tooled, cantelback will be tooled, and the stirrups will be tooled, and that'll be about it. I might do a little tooled frog right here just to give it a little bit more accent, but that's about all we're doing on it. Otherwise it'll be rough out. I like building saddles on these hog trees. They end up looking really neat. And like I said, the Lewis tree is by far my favorite at the moment. But and we've got a bunch more. I've got 2 more ropers I probably need to pull up in the mix here. But like we talked about in the last video, it's just a lot of parts. So we're just going to try to hustle these out of here as quick as we can, make a little progress. We got a couple belts here that we're wrapping up. This one here, we're going to do some old school chevron type braid work here. That'll be out of some rawhide. I've got some rawhide we're going to case up this morning and go ahead and get this laced, and then we'll align it. And this is going to be a really neat belt. Some rawhide lacing on that. Haven't done that in a really long time. And then we also have a belt here with cards on it and feathers, and so we've got to do some dye work on this and get this one wrapped up. So those 2 are tooled, 2 of them that we tooled last week, and get those out. We'll be cutting some more belts today. As far as the belt material packs, we do have more leather coming. I've told a few of y'all maybe I said it in the newsletter, but we did double the order again. So we should have a lot of them this next time whenever it comes. And I'm imagining that's going to be sometime this week or next week. So again, I'll let everybody know whenever they get here. We are going to push that through the newsletter as well, so you want to get signed up for that and be sure to know when those are available. Hopefully this time we'll have some more in stock all the time. If you're in a bind or something and you need one, you can always call the shop and visit with Claudia, and she can see if I can get one cut out. Like I said, we're not out of leather. I just have some leather that's needed for other projects and here and there, and so as far as the kits go, we just don't have enough of them. Enough leather to just go ahead and cut another 20 or 30 belt packs. But hopefully that leather will be here pretty quick, and then we'll get those cut and on the website. And as I mentioned earlier, we were dark last week on the podcast. With me and my producer, we've just been really busy, and so I had a couple people scheduled for last week or the week before, whatever. They had a conflicting schedule, this and that. So and then I think I did on one. So you know, we just didn't end up having anything interviewed, and we kind of used our well. We had a few in reserve, and we ended up using those kind of through the freeze and some other stuff. So, but we've got some interviews this week. I've got one tomorrow that I'm super excited about, and so we'll let you know who that is when podcast post, but we're really excited to interview him. We've got a couple ladies coming on board. We've also got one guy, like I said, that is just kind of known for his wallets and some other things. He's got a big following, so I'm interested to visit with him. And we just got some good ones coming up. We've got some more we're trying to get scheduled and get our schedules put together and stuff like that. But we should have one this week. It may be Friday or Saturday, but hopefully the one I do tomorrow, hopefully we can get it posted pronto, and then you'll have another podcast. Like I said, it's going to happen time to time. We're going to try to keep it on a weekly thing, but sometimes schedules don't work. We're all busy, thank goodness, and the industry is just busy. Everybody's in their shop. Some days work, some days don't. Sometimes things happen and you've got to reschedule, and so no big deal. But check it out. If you haven't checked it out, check out Lost Trade on Apple or Spotify, and be sure and subscribe. And if you get a chance, leave us a review. They say that helps our rankings or whatever. I'm not so worried about the rankings on the Apple podcast and stuff like that, but hey, every little bit helps. I know the Craftsman, we're such a small niche anyway, that I think the word is spreading enough that most craftsmen know about the podcast. And if they don't, they soon will, because craftsmen talk, and there's not a whole lot out there for us for podcasts, especially on the Western trades side of things. So, but yeah, just lots of stuff going on. That's about all I've got for you today. Be sure and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with a friend if you know somebody that might be interested in watching our videos, or somebody that's getting into leather work. We're meeting more and more people that have come by in the last couple months here just to visit that just got started. Like, we had a guy, a real nice fella, I apologize, I can't remember his name right offhand, rode his motorcycle, came down, popped in here Saturday morning. I was in here just kind of doing some book work and trying to get ready for this week, and he popped in, and super nice fella, and he is just getting started. Like, he ordered his tools, I think he said he hasn't done anything yet, but he's been watching videos, and it kind of just piqued some interest in him, and he thought, I'm gonna order a few tools and I'm gonna give this a whirl. And so he was out on a weekend ride and just decided to come by the shop and visit. And so we really enjoyed the visit. Super nice fella, and we hope that he enjoys leathercraft. I told him you either go one way or the other. Either you start it and you find out, I hate this, it's boring, I can't hold my attention, I don't ever want to do it again, or you do it and it's like, this is what I will be doing for the rest of my life. It's kind of feast or famine when it comes to leather work. You either love it or hate it. And so, but everybody likes to purchase leather work from other craftsmen. So if you're interested, or if you've been watching these videos and you're like, man, I think I could try that, but I don't know, but I just don't have time, or I don't know if I'll like it or whatever, just get a few little things, give it a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. And we've got a lot of videos on here. A lot of other craftsmen have created a lot of great videos out there for teaching some of the skills and some of the things that you need in order to get started. So give it a shot, get started. Otherwise, we're going to get back to work. Got a lot to do this week, and we'll see you next week in the Monday morning briefing. Thank y'all.